Welcome to Cheating Stories, Real Betrayal. Raw emotions, no filters. If you've ever been lied to, this is your place. Subscribe for weekly stories that cut deep and hit harder. Story: my girlfriend cheated on me with her therapist. When she first told me she was starting therapy, I was proud of her. Her name was Lily, and we'd been together for almost 2 years. She was soft-spoken, incredibly bright, and had a tendency to internalize everything. Her worries, her grief, her frustrations. So when she said she'd finally found someone to talk to, I was relieved. "It's just once a week," she said, curling into my side on the couch. "His name's Dr. Cohen. He specializes in anxiety and trauma." I kissed her forehead and told her it was a good idea. At first, everything seemed great. After a few sessions, she started smiling more. She laughed at my jokes again. She got out of bed early, cooked breakfast, took long walks with our dog. "I'm finally feeling like myself again," she'd say. I believed her, and I supported her fully. I didn't go snooping. I didn't pry. I wanted her to have a space that was hers, a place she could feel safe and unfiltered. But as the weeks turned into months, something shifted. She started mentioning Dr. Cohen more, at first casually. He suggested I try journaling, or Dr. Cohen says it's okay to feel overwhelmed. Then it got personal. "He's so funny," she'd say over dinner. "He reminds me of you in some ways." I laughed it off, but part of me didn't like it. I told myself I was being paranoid, that it was normal to bond with a therapist, that she was getting better, and that was all that mattered. But I was wrong. So wrong. The first message came on a Thursday night. I was in the kitchen cleaning up after dinner when Lily's phone buzzed on the counter. She was in the shower, and I wasn't the kind of guy to go through her stuff, but the message lit up the screen, and my eyes caught it by accident. "Tonight was incredible. I can't stop thinking about you." No name, just a number I didn't recognize. I stared at the screen, frozen. My first instinct was to assume it was a mistake, a wrong number. But something didn't sit right. The tone, the timing, the familiarity. I took a photo of the message, just in case. Later that night, I asked casually, "Hey, have you ever had a patient accidentally text you something weird?" She laughed. "What? No, why?" "Just curious. I saw a strange message on your phone. Thought maybe it was a spam text or something." Her face changed. She didn't get angry. She didn't even deny it. She just went quiet. "That's probably my therapist," she said, avoiding eye contact. "We've been talking a bit outside of sessions." "It's nothing." I blinked. "Talking?" She nodded slowly. "He checks in sometimes. It's part of his approach." I didn't know much about therapy boundaries, but something about that explanation felt wrong. Still, I didn't push. I wanted to trust her. But deep inside, that quiet voice of suspicion began to grow louder, and I started watching more closely, because something was off, and I needed to know what it was. I didn't plan to follow her. That Saturday, she said she was meeting a friend for brunch, someone from her yoga class. I smiled, kissed her goodbye, and told her to have fun. But something inside me stirred. The way she rushed to get ready, the extra swipe of lipstick, the unfamiliar perfume. So I waited 10 minutes, grabbed my jacket, and left. I didn't know where I was going, not really, I just had a feeling. And 20 minutes later, I saw her. She was sitting on the patio of a little café near the park, laughing, smiling, leaning in close. Across from her sat a man in his mid-40s, handsome in a practiced, polished way, dark-rimmed glasses, collared shirt, confident posture. I knew who he was before I even had to ask. Dr. Cohen. I stood across the street, heart pounding, hoping I was misreading the scene. But then she reached across the table and touched his hand, and he didn't pull away. They sat like that for a moment, her thumb gently brushing his knuckles, his eyes locked on hers like she was the only person in the world. And just like that, the truth was undeniable. This wasn't therapy. This wasn't care. This was betrayal. I turned away and walked home. She got back 3 hours later. I didn't say a word, just handed her my phone. The photo I took of them together. Her face drained of color. "I was going to tell you," she whispered. I didn't ask when. I didn't ask why. I simply said, "You need to leave." And she did. That night I stared at the ceiling for hours, wondering how a man sworn to help her had crossed the most sacred boundary of all, and I knew I couldn't let it go. I spent the next week researching. I read everything I could about therapist-client boundaries, ethical codes, licensing laws, case studies. The more I read, the more disgusted I felt. He hadn't just crossed the line, he'd obliterated it. Lily was vulnerable. She trusted him with her pain, her trauma, the pieces of herself she didn't share with anyone else. And he used that trust to get close, to manipulate, to seduce, to exploit. I couldn't stay silent. I found the contact information for the state medical board and filed a complaint. I included the text, the photo, a written account of what had happened. I didn't embellish or rant, I stuck to the facts. A week later, I got a response. The investigation would begin immediately. Meanwhile, Lily tried to reach out. She sent long emails, apologies, explanations. She said she felt seen with him in a way she never had before, that it started as emotional support and turned into something confusing, that she didn't mean for it to go so far. I didn't reply, because no matter how complicated her emotions were, what he did was wrong, and I wouldn't carry the weight of her betrayal any longer. The board followed up 3 times. I gave them everything I had. 6 months later, I received a letter. Dr. Cohen's license was suspended, pending further review. It wasn't justice in the dramatic sense, but it was something. Closure doesn't always come with dramatic endings or screaming matches. Sometimes it comes quietly, in paperwork, in distance, in choosing not to pick up the phone. I don't hate her, I just don't know who she is anymore. I still believe in therapy, but I no longer believe in rescuing people who won't save themselves. I walked away from that relationship with a deep scar, but I also walked away with my integrity intact, and I'll never settle for anything less than truth again.